Joe Biden gave his State of the Union address. Donald Trump responded with what he calls the real State of the Union address. And it was kind of classic Trump, overreaching, going too far, saying Biden wants to mutilate your kids and Biden's too woke and he's the most corrupt president in American history. But weirdly enough, on Truth Social, Trump said a couple things, I think it was towards the end of Biden's speech, that were like eyebrow raising. Like, wait, what? I don't understand what's going on here. So he said the following. Look, he worked hard tonight. This is Trump talking about Biden. It's not a natural thing for him. It never was and never will be. But you've got to give him credit for trying. I disagree with him on most of his policies, but he put into words what he felt, and he ended up the evening, far stronger than he began. Give him credit for that. Many things weren't mentioned that should have been, but that's for another time. I've done a little clip. Perhaps you'd like to watch. Good night, everybody, and God bless America. Now, the clip is the, response to Biden's State of the Union. Now, I think Trump, wrote it before he actually watched the State of the Union. He probably recorded it before he watched the State of the Union. And so, again, he overreaches in the clip, and it's goofy. We just did a segment talking about it. But this random, conciliatory message from Trump. Now, he also went on to talk about how Jill Biden looks beautiful and elegant in her purple dress, and she's supporting her man, which is a beautiful thing to see. It's very strange. You get Trump out of nowhere saying some complimentary things here and there. So that leads to the question, well, what's going on? Why is he doing this? What's the purpose of this? Now, I have to say, what I'm about to tell you is possible. I said the other day, Trump doesn't have the capability to let me pivot, let me moderate my language. And we noticed this in 2016, after he got out of the primary. A lot of people expected him to sort of change his tone and his tune a little bit and sound more moderate to attract more independents. And he didn't really do that, right? There was no actual pivot. He just kind of kept saying the things he was saying in the primary, which in a sense, it's respect, because then at least you're being consistent with the stuff you said. Whenever a politician pivots, it's they're just lying. So are you lying then or are you lying now? What do you actually believe? Trump didn't do that. He just kept saying the stuff he was saying. But that's frowned upon, is looked on as bad strategy in a sense, because it's the people you're trying to appeal to in a primary are not the same as the general electorate, and you need to, react accordingly to try to get more people on your side and to vote for you. And, I said the other night, he doesn't have the ability to moderate. And when it comes to who he's going to pick for VP, is he going to be smart enough to think Carrie Lake is too extreme? She's not going to help me in a general election. Marjorie Taylor Greene is too extreme. She's not going to help me in a general election. I don't know if he's smart enough to parse through that and come to the conclusion I probably need somebody who's more quote unquote moderate on my ticket. Maybe, for example, a Tim Scott, somebody who can bridge more the establishment wing of the party and also get some of the more moderate voters. I don't know if he's thought through that. But when I look at what he's doing here, ain't no way that Trump just sort of, I say no way, maybe it's possible, that he just impulsively was okay, yeah, Biden's kind of holding it together and he's trying his best. I don't agree with him, but this is a fine speech. It's possible that was just impulsive. It's possible it was impulsive to say his wife looks beautiful and she's looking out for her man and that's brilliant, etc. But I think it's more likely that somebody somehow, somewhere got through to him and said, hey, dude, you're getting a little too extreme, even too extreme for a Republican primary. You're not going to win if you don't sound more moderate, if you don't sound more normal. Because back in the day, he had a kind of a normie touch when he campaigned. He always said outrageous things. Everybody knows that. But there would also be, at times, a normie touch where you're oh, weird. I didn't expect him to be in tune with the people enough to be able to make that point. Don't cut Social Security, don't outsource jobs, etc. It looks to me like somebody got through to him and was you got to chill with the QAnon stuff and the Pizzagate stuff and the terminate the Constitution stuff. You need to go out there and show people you're still a regular person who is relatable. That you're not just filled with grievance to the brim 24/7 and just overflowing with rage and hatred. And it's possible somebody got through to him, and then that's exactly what he did here by saying, hey, I won't credit Biden on the substance of the speech. I'll credit Biden on the delivery of the speech. I'll credit Biden on the tone of the speech. That's possible, right? So I'm curious what you guys think about this. I'm going to ask you, is this Trump just being sort of impulsive and in the moment saying, okay, this speech is okay, let me say that? Or is it strategic in a sense, and somebody finally got through to him to be hey man, you got to appear more calm, normal, independent, bipartisan, right? Or is it that? Because right now, I do lean more towards somebody finally got through to him and said, enough with the Pizzagate stuff, enough with the QAnon stuff. And so he's managing the optics. And he's like, okay, well, what can I do to appear more moderate, to appear more normal, to appear more reasonable? I got an idea. I'll say a couple nice words about Biden and his speech. But then, he links you to his real State of the Union address where he's basically ripping Biden a new one and, going over the top in his criticism of him. So I'm curious what you guys think. Is it impulsive or is it strategic? Now, I've never been one to accuse Donald Trump of being too strategic. If anything, I thought his impulses just happened to be beneficial to him in politics. But this to me looks more than just impulsive. It looks like strategic. I'm curious what you guys think. I did not have this on my bingo card for State of the Union night. That Trump, who's effectively running against Biden, is like, hey man, not so bad, not a bad speech. I mean, that's really, really interesting. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.